Okay, so today we'll begin our discussion about the enzymes. Okay, now enzymes in class 10, when you studied the chapter digestion, you have learned or come across this term enzyme. You have learned that salivary amylase, pepsin, trypsin, lipase, and a lot more names of enzymes you have learned. Maltase. Okay, a lot more names of enzymes you have learned. You know that enzymes are molecules that catalyzes the reactions going on inside the cell. Now, true that enzymes are molecules that catalyzes the reactions that goes on inside the cells. That is very, very true. But in this class, we will basically try to understand that what is the nature of the enzyme or which type of biomolecule it is, and also how enzymes react or function. Now question arises, suppose for example in a cell there is a molecule A which is going to convert into molecule B. When the molecule A converts into molecule B, then what happens? That this chemical reaction inside the cell cannot happen by itself. Or the concept of catalyst is that when a chemical reaction occurs, catalyst is a molecule or an agent that makes the reaction possible or speeds up the reaction, but itself does not take part in reaction. It will make the reaction possible or speed up the reaction, but itself will not take part in the reaction. It will neither form a product of the reaction or neither react with anything. It is just that it doesn't take part in the reaction. It is just that it speeds up the reaction. It is just that it speeds up the reaction. That is a catalyst. And enzymes are biological catalysts. That is, all the chemical reactions that occur in our cell is catalyzed by the enzymes. So, in class 10, in the chapter that is your digestion, you had learned that salivary amylase is breaking down starch into glucose, maltose. Maltose is broken down into glucose by maltase in the intestine. Pepsin breaks down protein into peptide. Trypsin breaks down the peptides into amino acids. Lipase breaks down the lipids into fatty acids and glycerols. All these things in class 10 were taught to you. You know and you understand and you have known all these things. But now what happens is that you see the enzymes that I am talking about. Yes, the enzymes. There are a whole lot of enzymes that are present inside the cell. Remember, the cell is always in a dynamic state. Anything which is in equilibrium state cannot produce energy. If I see inside of a cell, now why the study of enzyme is important? Let us first discuss that why the study of enzyme is important. Then we'll discuss other things. Why the study of enzyme is important. Why the study of enzyme is important? That is a big question. That why it is so that the study of the enzyme is so much important. Now look. Yeah. So see, always remember one thing. There are always sets of chemical reactions that keep on occurring inside the cell. Continuously, sets of chemical reactions keep on occurring inside the cell. We have learned about lot of biomolecules, right? In fact, we have learned about biomolecules like DNA, RNA, the proteins, the carbohydrates, and one part that is left is lipid, that I will give you a video, but you know that lipid exists. So these biomolecules that are there, you see, these particular biomolecules, okay, they have turnover inside the cell. Now you will ask, sir, what is having turnover inside the cell? That they are constantly being changed into some other biomolecules. Each biomolecule are constantly being changed into some other biomolecule. Constantly. They don't, be staticized or static inside the cell, that inside the cell they will be there. Some are there, like for example lipids in the cell membrane, the lipid bilayer is there, but again those also break down and there is cell division and all these things. So no biomolecule in the cell is statically remaining. There is constant change into another biomolecule by one way or the other, by one process or the other. And this involves constant chemical reactions. For example, there is conversion of glucose into CO2 and H2O, which you call as respiration, which involves multitude of enzymes. I will tell multitude of enzymes. Lots of enzymes are there which are involved. Okay, which does this? There is amino acid biosynthesis. There is nucleotide biosynthesis. Biosynthesis means synthesis in the cell with the help of raw products, or suppose for example nitrogen, phosphorus, all these things, synthesis in the cell or making in the cell. That is biosynthesis. So amino acid biosynthesis, nucleotide biosynthesis, all these things are continuously going on inside the cell. And cell is constantly being in a dynamic state. Dynamic state. Cell cannot be in an equilibrium state. Remember that. Because the nature of cell is that the cell is living, right? And the nature of life, as I taught you earlier, is having life process. So the nature of life is having life processes. Okay, and the cell is being constantly in a dynamic state because life processes involved. Processes like respiration, excretion, and digestion and nutrition and lots and lots of chemical reactions that are constantly going on. There are energy demanding chemical reactions. There are energy producing chemical reactions, which gives us to another new arena I will discuss just now. But I hope that due to lots of chemical reactions going on, the biomolecules are always turned over, or there is turnover of the biomolecules, and hence there are lots of chemical reaction going on and occurring, and hence the cell is always in a dynamic state and never in an equilibrium state. Remember, so anything which is in equilibrium state cannot do work. Anything which is in equilibrium state cannot do work. I'll give you a simple example to make you understand that thing. Suppose for example, I'll give you example from physics so that you can understand. Suppose for example, there is a vessel, and in the vessel you have put a piston. Okay, Suppose for example the pressure P applied by the piston in the gas inside is equals to the pressure Pg. So P is equals to Pg. So how much pressure P is applying on the gas, same pressure of the gas is being applied on the wall of the piston. So what is happening? The piston is not moving. When the piston is not moving, no work is done. You know, work is always involved with the application of force and displacement. So that means there will be no work. But however, if you apply more pressure, or if the gas applies more pressure, then the piston will either move up or down and there will be work. But when the piston will move, the equilibrium will be destroyed, the system will go into dynamic state. However, when the pressures are equal, the system is in equilibrium. In the same way, chemical reactions can also be in equilibrium. A continuously converted into B and B continuously converted back into A. And when the speed with which A is becoming B and the speed with which B is becoming A are equal, then they are in equilibrium. Remember, from that kind of reaction, you cannot derive energy. Never. Where the speed with which A is becoming B and the speed with which B is becoming A are equal to each other. However, all the reactions that occur in the cell are either energy demanding reactions or energy producing reactions. And hence I can say that none of the reaction or if one or two reactions be in equilibrium also, suppose for example, it would be wrong to say that no reaction is in equilibrium. If one or two or a few reaction be in equilibrium also in the cell, the entire set of reactions pertaining to life process will not be in equilibrium. No, it cannot be. Why? Because the entire equilibrium process will not give rise to any kind of energy, and life is an energy demanding process. And life is a energy demanding process. Always remember that life is a energy life is an energy demanding process, because life is such a thing where you need to do work, and when you need to do work you need energy. Okay, so always remember, in conclusion to whatever just I have said, that the living state is a non-equilibrium steady state. Non-equilibrium steady state means steadily it is in non-equilibrium, so that it can perform work, so that it can perform work. Okay, so that is what it is. And what I have discussed just now, the entire thing about the living state. Now, such chemical reactions, so many things that are occurring. Okay, all these reactions, all the reactions that keep the cell in a dynamic state are catalyzed by the enzymes. Okay. Now you see little bit more about reactions. The entire set of reactions. Now I was continuously saying entire set of reaction that is occurring in the cell is known as what? It is known as metabolism. Now you know that metabolism can be divided into two parts: anabolism and catabolism. That means there are anabolic metabolism at the set of reactions that occurs in the cell. Anabolism are those reactions where a complex substance is made up from simple molecules. Like for example, many amino acids are polymerizing to make a protein. That is anabolism. Many nucleotides are polymerizing or adding up with each other to make a DNA. Many glucose molecules are polymerizing or joining with each other. Polymerizing means joining with each other to make up a glycogen or monosaccharide into polysaccharide. So that is what I wanted to mean. So that such type of reaction or such kind of biosynthesis, like biosynthetic pathways like nucleic acid biosynthesis, nucleic acid or replication, you can say. Actually replication, because DNA is there. When cell division is there, new DNA are made. You know that. Okay. So nucleic acid replication, nucleotide biosynthesis, okay, amino acid biosynthesis, all these types of reaction, these are all making up reactions. That's why they are called anabolism. And remember, this all type of reactions demand energy, requires ATP. Then you will think, sir, if it requires ATP, it takes up ATP. Why these reactions occur? Because these reactions makes up your cell, makes up the function of your cell. And catabolism are those types of reaction where complex substances are broken down to give rise to simple substances. Okay, like for example, when protein is being digested to give amino acid. Okay, for example, when glucose is being broken down into pyruvic acid. For example, when maybe pyruvic acid is broken down into CO2 and H2O. Okay, or maybe when DNA is denatured or broken to release, not denatured, or it can, you can say broken to release nucleotides. This happens very rarely though. Okay, So these are energy producing reactions. Catabolism are breaking down reactions or energy producing reactions. That is ATP producing. See, now when I talk about ATP, so all these reactions occur with the help of enzymes. May this reaction, may it be this type of reaction. All this set of reactions occurs with the help of enzymes, that you know. Now, moving forward, you see, when I say ATP, this term from class 10 you are knowing, ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell. Very true. Yes, ATP is known as the energy currency of the cell. That is very right. Okay. Absolutely correct. ATP can be said the energy currency of the cell. Now, question arises why? Why ATP? ATP is that molecule which stores energy. Sometimes GTP also stores energy. Now, what is the full form of ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. Now, if you remember, adenosine triphosphate or adenylic acid was the adenosine monophosphate. The nucleotide adenine, when linked to the ribose sugar, which you have learned with the first carbon and which is linked to a phosphate, is known as a nucleotide. This nucleotide is known as, when phosphate is not there, it is known as nucleoside. When phosphate is there, it is known as nucleotide. This nucleotide is known as adenosine or adenosine monophosphate. Oh, sorry, this nucleotide is known as adenylic acid. Adenylic acid, if you remember, or it is called adenosine monophosphate. Now what happens, if there is another phosphate link, this becomes adenosine triphosphate. Remember, these phosphate bonds contain huge amount of energy. You know that breaking of bond requires energy and making of bond releases energy, right? However, bonds can also store energy in them, and when these bonds are being broken down, they release energy. Now you will think from your chemistry concept that when bonds are being broken down, we need to give energy from outside. It is not so the case in here. Bonds can also store energy. When the energy needs to be stored, okay, they make up this bond from AMP or adenosine monophosphate. They make two new ATP. And when they need to spend this energy, they break it down. So that's why they say, or maybe this, only this one. That's why they say from ATP, they make ADP and plus PI. So that means these two phosphates, one phosphate, and hence the energy stored in the bond is released. Okay, and when the bond, when the energy needs to be stored, they make ADP plus PI, giving rise to ATP, which stores the energy and keeps the energy in the cell. That's why it is known as the energy currency of the cell. I hope that you can understand what I have tried to say. Okay, so that is the thing. So in this kind of reaction, lots of ATPs are broken down into ADP and PI, and in this type of reaction, lots of ADP and PI, that's adenosine diphosphate plus inorganic phosphate, join to make ATP. So this was the truth behind it, and with this understanding of the nature of the cell, okay, and how things occur, all these reactions that you have understood are carried out by enzymes. Now a question arises that what is the nature of the enzyme? Enzymes are basically proteinaceous, proteins in nature. Their structure. Now you have learnt about protein in your previous video. If you have yet not seen the previous video of protein, please see it. Otherwise you will not be able to understand the function and action of enzymes. And remember one more thing, that enzymes are not always proteins. Means always proteins will only act as enzymes. There is RNA molecule that you have learnt about, RNA, ribonucleic acid. They also sometimes have catalytic action. Enzymes are what? Biological catalysts. They also sometimes have catalytic action. And this catalytic action of RNA molecule, when they act as catalysts, are known as ribozymes. Ribozymes are RNA catalysts. They do a lot of function. Ribozymes are present in ribosomes. Remember that. So, this is what I wanted to tell you. Also remember, in Tiden time, when first cells were formed, neither the genetic material was stored in DNA nor proteinaceous enzyme or enzymes which are proteins existed. At that time, at the very primitive cells, the RNA molecule itself acts as the genetic material, and RNA molecule only acts as catalytic action or enzymes. But those RNA molecule enzymes or enzymes which has RNA in them are still existing, and they are known as ribozymes. So that much is for today's this much video, and in the next video I will shift to the discussion of what enzymes are, how they function. Thank you.